What's up, YouTube? Angry Jack and the Prop Ricks. We are doing our in-depth review of Fear the Walking Dead, Episode 3. I'm going to try to do this one without all my notes. I've watched it a few times now, so I think I have all of my thoughts and points of view. I don't have to do a complete blow-by-blow analysis because I think some of you guys might not actually be digging that. Some of you might dig it, and you can let me know in the comments below if that's something that you guys are still interested in, me doing a complete blow-by-blow 40-minute episode. I'm more than happy to do it because I like to tear the shit apart anyway. But there are a couple of different things that I do want to bring up. First of all, I didn't realize as I watched Daniel that that's my boy from Predator 2. That's Danny Boy. Predator 2. Yes, there's a Predator 2. It had Danny Glover in it. Yes, Danny Boy. Oh, even you, man, not so big, you gotta get up there. Danny Boy. Anyway, the actor who plays Danny Boy is a really interesting guy. He actually ran for presidency in Panama. I think it was Panama. If I'm wrong, I'll have to update this and point it out. But he's a pretty interesting dude. His wife, Griselda, is that her name? Griselda? I think that was her name. She is a huge actress in, I think, Mexico. She's been doing shit since the early 70s. Just tons of shit. And then Ophelia is their daughter, and I think the only thing I saw of note for her was Quarantine 2, the one that took place on the plane. I don't even know what character she played on that. Wow, there's a helicopter flying low enough that it's vibrating my garage. Cray cray. So anyway, we pick up where we left off with Travis and them sitting inside of the barber shop and all of the looting crazy shit going on outside. And Chris is sitting there peeking outside, you know, even after his dad's like, Chris, don't go over there. You know, kids will be kids, motherfuckers curious, like, what the fuck? I know my ass would be glued to that shit, like, holy fuck, are you kidding me? And anyway, he sees a walker. He sees one for the first time, and it fucking bugs him out, right? And it's funny because he tells his dad, yeah, there's this dude. He's really kind of spaced out or whatever, you know. And his dad's like, yeah, it's fucking L.A. There's probably a fucking shit ton of motherfuckers walking around spaced out. Fucking crackhead, crazy motherfuckers. So, you know, they're kind of concerned, and the looters break in next door. I know after that it was supposed to jump to Maddie, but I'm just going to cover the parts as I remember it here. I'm not going to be chronologically correct. I'm just going to kind of jump back and forth here. But there's some looters breaking in next door, and so, you know, Travis being the pussy he is, he's sitting there saying, we don't have to worry about it. They're not going to come over here. And they're like, why? He goes, why? They're going to rob combs? They're going to break in here, steal some combs, which pisses off Daniel. So Daniel at one point walks over and says, hey, motherfucker, we got more shit in here than motherfucking combs, bitch. You know, you better come correct with your shit. And he goes, so Travis is all, well, what do we do if these motherfuckers come in here? He's like, we run in different directions. I mean, you know, that's classy. That's classy how he presented it. And that was the first indication to me that Daniel is not the bitch that I thought he was going to be when I saw him in episode 2. In episode 2, it seems like, you know, his balls were tied to his wife, like she wore it around her neck. This episode, he really comes out. Motherfucker is a rider. He is a gangsta-ass motherfucker. I love him. He is my all-time brand new favorite character. He is my favorite character right now. Now, we'll flip back over to fucking Madison, Nick, and Alicia at the house. And, you know, they're sitting around saying, you know, what's the deal? What's going on? And Nick's like, hey, I need more of my medicine, fucking crackhead. I'm going to call him Nick the crackhead going forward because he is just a fucking, he's a dick. Nick the dick. He's a fucking dick. So he's sitting there saying, hey, I need some more meds, I need some more meds. So she gives him a couple more, and the motherfucker starts cracking it up like a little crackhead. He's just crushing it. She's like, hey, don't you have to do that? Just fucking take the shit. You know, he's like, hey, I'm the motherfucking expert here. And I'm like, yeah, you are a crackhead. You are the motherfucking expert of being a fuck up. Bravo. Bravo, shithead. And, you know, he's like, you know, when the fuck are they going to come? Blah, blah, blah. So, you know, it goes back, and the guys that have broke into the other side of the next to the barber shop, I guess they start looting and fucking set that motherfucker on fire because there's some heat that starts coming through. Oh, yeah, some heat coming through, and they decide, fuck, we gotta bail, we gotta fucking bail, and you know, Daniel is not so proud and so stupid that he decides, you know, he doesn't say, fuck it, we're going to go our own way. He decides, yeah, we're all going to roll together. And they open the door, motherfuckers pour in, start going crazy, destroying his shit. And it was a kind of a fucked up moment. I felt really bad for him. He like pauses at the door, and you know this motherfucker wants to go in there and start unleashing shit on these motherfuckers, but he doesn't. You know, because his wife's pulling him, we gotta go, and they bail out and they start running into the fucking mob. And Chris sees a fucking the cop that got bit on episode 2 that was over by the gurney. He's now fucking chewing the shit out of some other cop on the ground. And my thought is, how the fuck, you know, granted, motherfuckers are caught up in the moment and they're looting and whatnot, but you see a cop on the ground eating another cop, unless you are obliviously fucking strung out high as a kite, you're gonna notice that shit. That's fucking, I mean, that's crazy shit. A mother, you know, it's fucking crazy. Oh, I need to bring up a point. I was talking to my wife about this while we were watching the show. So, the thing you guys got to remember, and this was something that I wasn't aware of, and I made some comments on the last video and even the first video, you know, where I had assumed in their universe they had zombies and shit like we do. But apparently they don't. They don't have fucking zombies. So all of this shit is new to them, which makes it kind of fucked up and kind of creepy. The concept of something dying and coming back and then eating your ass, that's pretty goddamn scary. We've been kind of desensitized to it because fucking zombie movies have been around forever. So anyway, let me get back into this. So they start taking off. They're heading for the truck. They get down. There's some shit that happens. Griselda gets her fucking foot crushed. They all get to a truck that is immaculate. No looters did. I mean, there's no even piss in there. Like, the looters didn't even piss in the truck. You know, I'm kind of like, hey, you know, make it a little real. Put some shit in there, a little piss. Make it look like somebody fucked some shit up in there. So they take off, and they're like, you know, what's her name? Liza says, hey, this lady needs a fucking hospital. So they go and head out to a fucking hospital. Now we flip back to fucking Nick and them, and Maddie had decided to play some Monopoly. And there was a cool point there where they had the Monopoly scene playing out. You know, she pulls out the board and says, hey, let's play Monopoly. And then it cuts back to the fucking rioting and shit. And it was a real cool thing because it went from a kind of tense moment, like we learned a little bit more about Maddie's husband. So he's not going to be some surprise guest junkie or something else. Apparently he died, some kind of an accident. And we learn about that a little bit later in the episode. But, you know, there's a scene where they're talking about the Monopoly, and, you know, Nick says, oh, I want to be the shoe, I think he said. And then Alicia's like, that's Dad. You know, that's Dad always was the shoe, or the hat, or whatever it was. And he's like, and then Maddie's like, yeah, Daddy wouldn't mind. And so you get a little bit right there, you know, it gets a little bit more kind of tense. So anyway, as Travis and them were heading to the hospital, we flashed back again to Maddie and them, and they're playing Monopoly. And Nick, you know, he scores Boardwalk, and he has Park Place, and he's making it rain, and it's kind of a lighthearted moment. It's kind of nice, you know. And then you hear this gunshot off in the distance, which kind of shatters everything and pulls them all right back into the shit, you know. Nick kind of wasn't really phased. He's like, Mom, it's your time to roll. Alicia, though, you can see she's kind of a little bit like, whoa, what's going on? You know, a little more concerned. And Maddie tries to play it off and rolls the dice, but the mood's broke. I mean, it's back to reality. And Alicia's like, how much longer are we gonna stay up? And she's like, well, we can go to sleep pretty soon. She's like, I can't sleep when I'm waiting for somebody. And Nick kind of gives her a look too, and I wasn't quite sure if Nick was going, damn, I'm sorry if I fucked you up, or if that was a direct relation to the dad. Maybe the dad went to go do something, and they were waiting for him. He never showed up, and then they found out he fucking died. And then there's a point where Alicia says, I'm having a real mad fucking deja vu right now, and so you kind of feel bad, So we go back to Travis and them, and if you saw the trailer or the sneak preview of The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead, this was the scene they showed. He says all of them in a truck, they're driving by, the hospital looks like it's under siege, there's an ambulance on fire, there's people running, you see fucking SWAT, you hear them on a megaphone, hey, you know what? Nobody can leave the premises, and there's some old ladies walking in a bathrobe, or not a bathrobe, but a medical gown, and they're lighting her ass up, and they end it with headshot, and everybody starts screaming. Travis and them fucking book, and he's like, we'll go to another hospital, and then Danny Boy says, no, we're gonna go with you. He goes, what, to my house? He's like, yeah, we're gonna go to your house, and then we're even. And then Danny's like, and then Travis is like, oh, fuck, I didn't know we were keeping score and blah blah blah. I saved your ass too, whatever. So he's like, look, just get me to your fucking house. I'll call my fucking cousin. I'll be out of your fucking hair, and we'll be even Steven. So they start heading over towards Travis's house with Maddie. At one point, also back in the barber shop, there's a couple of different exchanges. There's two parts early in the episode where Nick's being a really huge dick, and Chris is being a little dick as well. So they kind of butted those two asses, against each other in the scene. So you had Nick talking to Maddie saying, hey, how long is it going to take? What are we going to do for medicine? Blah, blah, blah. What if he doesn't come? How long are we going to wait? And he's just being a dick. And he says, well, he went to go pick up his ex-wife. She's like, no, he went to pick up his son. He's like, okay, whatever. She said, he'll come home. And then Nick said, what if he went home? She's like, okay, you're being a dick. Then it went to Chris. Chris was like, Dad, are we going to fucking Maddie's after this? He's like, yeah. He goes, why? Can't we just go? Just me and you, Mom. Let's just go. And he's like, no, we're going to go to Maddie's. So, you see both sons pulling at their parents, trying to fucking get out of Dodge and just fuck the other segment, the other half over. And I think the show is doing this to show the bond between Maddie and Travis, and they did a couple other things in here that make that also really obvious. So we'll get to that as we're going along. So, we go back now to Maddie, Nick, and Alicia, and before that, as they decide they're going to go home, Travis, Chris, and all of them are driving, and you see the lights of LA going off. And that was a really, really creepy, scary scene. To me, that was one of the more troubling scenes. Regardless of any of the gore stuff that happens later in the episode, that to me was a very scary thought, seeing all of the lights going out across all of LA. It was spooky. It was spooky. So anyway, the lights go off over inside of Maddie Nim's house. She tells Alicia, hey, put the fucking game away. Nick's like, hey, when are we going to fucking, tell her what's going on? She's like, hopefully never. And they keep hearing this fucking sound. They're like, what the fuck is the sound? And so, Alicia's like, hey, I think I see something. So they go and they look, and they don't see anything. And, Nick's like, get the fuck away from the windows, motherfuckers, get away from the window. So they get away from the windows, and then they hear more scratching. Here's Nick. Shifty ass Nick. He's like, what's that? What's that? He goes, open them. It's a big ass dog, right? So again, I said this before when Alicia went into fucking Matt's house, left the door wide open. No motherfucking manners, these fucking kids, right? Nick opens the sliding glass door. Dog comes in. He leaves the door wide open. I'm like, what a dipshit, right? And you'll see why in a second. Why that was just common sense shit is what gets these motherfuckers in trouble. So, the dog comes in, and the dog starts barking like crazy, and then they all go to the window where the dog's at barking, and they see Peter, the one who ate the neighbor at the end of episode 2 is now lumbering towards their house, and we'll call him Zombie Peter. Peter the zombie. So he starts coming. Nick goes, I know where there's a shotgun. The next door neighbors has one because I tried to steal it from them before. Holy shit, that's realistic as a motherfucker. Crackheads, going and breaking a motherfucker's house to steal shit. So they go and they jump this fucking fence, and there's this fucking maze in the backyard, this fucking botanical fucking maze, and I'm just like, what the fuck? So they're like, go here, go here, go here. I'm like, am I watching Maze Runner now? What the fuck's going on? So they go and he lifts up the mat. There's a key under there. He goes in the house, and they're just walking around this fucking house. And I'm just like, what the fuck? This motherfucker has the case layout of the neighborhood, man. So they go in, they find a fucking shotgun, they find some shells, and Alicia sees Zombie Peter. The dog's barking. Zombie comes coming. Here's roof, roof, roof. Ooh, sounds like ding, ding, ding dinner. Zombie walks into their house and kills the dog. We don't see it, but we hear the dog, so fucking they're like, oh shit. All right, well, so Maddie says, fuck it, we'll stay here. It's safe. And then who shows up? Travis. Travis rolls up with his crew. And then Maddie starts freaking out. They go and they go back over. As they're heading back in towards the house, Nick looks to Alicia, says, do you have the shotgun shells? She's like, no. He's like, fuck it, just leave it. Let's go, right? She decides, fuck it, I'm going to go back and get it, So she goes back to the house. They're going into Maddie's house, Nick and Maddie, with the shotgun that they had 2 shells in it. Meanwhile, Alicia's going back to the house to try to grab shit. And then we see Travis walking in the house. Lights are out, right? He walks in the house, and fucking Liza and Chris come following him. He's like, I told you guys to stay in our car. And they're like, no, we're sticking with you. They walk in and shit. Fucking, they hear, and here's fucking Travis's dumbass. What's going on over here? Let's go look over here. Lights come on. He sees the shit, and instead of going, whoa, whoa, go, back, right? He goes, you and Chris go into the car. And the zombie goes, dinner. Turns around, starts coming over. Travis, oh, Peter, hey, dude, you're sick. You okay? Come on, dude, talk to me, And, Peter's like, just trying to eat his ass, right? And he fucking falls to the ground, and he's on top of him, and they're fucking wrestling and fighting and shit, and he's not getting bit or nothing. Meanwhile, Maddie rolls in. People are screaming. Maddie shows up with a shotgun. Travis is all, put that gun away. I'm like, oh my God, he's anti-gun. This motherfucker is... His mangina just swelled to the size of that living room. Is ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, this is fucking horrible. Dun. Danny Boy rolls in, though. Snatches the fucking shotty from Madison. And then, boom, pops Zombie Peter right in the head. He spins, and all of a sudden, Zombie Peter turns. And half his face is blown off. Does Danny Boy freak out? Does he go, no. He walks up. Puts it right there, blah, blows it off. And I'm like, holy shit, gore meter 10, bing, 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 bing. Winner, chicken dinner, holy shit. I was like, damn, they're showing this shit on TV. Wow. Okay, that was a headshot, all right? And then he turns around, hands a shotgun back to Madison, and fucking happy as can be, heads back out to his wife and shit. And I was like, damn, that's gangsta. And then we hear Chris running outside because he's going to throw up. He's like, bleh, bleh, bleh. So he runs outside. Now, Alicia's picking up the shotgun shells when all this shit's going on. And all of a sudden, she sees some slippered little zombie-ass feet. And she realizes, oh, shit, there's something here. So she books. Now, this is one of the few spots that I had an issue. Because zombies are not known for being very quick. And somehow the zombie Susan was able to go from the house to the garden maze, catch Alicia by the hair and pull on her a little bit, and then get to the fence. Now, it was one of these types of maze. It was like left, right, go straight. So it might not have been a really elaborate maze, but there was a point where Alicia seemed to be lost for a second. So that tells me it wasn't as simple as it initially seemed. So how does a zombie that has no cognitive abilities really to speak of navigate through a maze? So there's going to be kind of a continuity issue that I had for this particular episode. Anyway, Alicia climbs up on the fence. You got Zombie Susan down there, grabbing her fucking leg. I'm gonna bite her, trying to bite her and shit. Chris is trying to help her. Come here, Alicia. I'm trying to help you. He gets her over the fence. She falls on top of him. This motherfucker is grabbing handfuls of tits and shit, and she's like, "Motherfucker, get off!" Blam! Just elbow smashes him right in the fucking big ass nose that he's got, right? And he's all, "I was trying to save you, Alicia." And his dad gets, helps him up, and he shoves his dad like he's a motherfucking man or whatnot. Actually, at that moment, he probably was a bigger man than fucking Travis was. And goes in the house, and there's a little moment later, Travis is helping him with his nose and blah, 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 and all of the bullshit. And they go inside, and there's some awkward stuff that happens between, Travis and his ex-wife. There's a moment there, and there's a point they're talking about, oh, we're going to stay in the house. It's dark outside. And it's dark outside. Travis don't want to leave. Everybody wants to fucking leave, but Travis don't want to leave until the next morning. I think Alicia and Chris were down to stick around until the morning time because they had just finished driving through a bunch of probably crazy shit and didn't want to go back out until it was daytime. And they're probably all like, "It's dark and scary outside. I don't want to go out there." Whatever. So Maddie and them were like, "Fuck, we don't want to fuck. We want to go now." And he's like, "No, we'll board up the house. We'll lock it up. We'll be safe." She's like, "Fine. Fucking, you gotta clean up fucking Peter and take his ass out of the house. We don't want his ass in here." So he's dragging him outside, and there's this real cool kind of dialogue between him and Danny Boy. Danny Boy's telling him, "Hey, man, you can get some gas from the car, fucking light his ass up, make sure nothing bad happens." He's like, "Man, I'm not going to burn him. He didn't deserve to get shot in the head." And Danny Boy's like, "Fuck, you're a dumbass, dude. Whatever." So he goes back in the house, and the daughter is sitting there. Travis asked Danny Boy at one point early on, "Hey, did you reach out to your cousin?" He goes, "Yeah, I talked to my cousin. He's going to be here tomorrow to pick us up." And the daughter's like, "What? You didn't talk to no motherfucking cousin. Why are you fucking lying?" So later on, she's having this altercation with her dad, like, "Hey, we should go with them. They got a nurse. They could help us." And the dad's like, "No, they're fucking idiots. We're not rolling with them. Now is not a good time to be in the debt of somebody who's not family. We don't want to have, obligation of somebody that is not worth it." You know what I mean? In his mind, he quickly assessed there were some weak fucking people there. He saw the junkie. He saw the Travis. He probably was on the fence about Maddie. Alicia looks like one of those pretentious little stuck-up bitches. He saw Chris earlier just kind of, so he's kind of like, no, the nurse was probably the only one in his mind and his assessment that was of any value. So he was like, "Nah, fuck that. We'll take care of ourselves." And she's like, "Dad, no, come on, what's wrong?" At one point, she even asked his ass, "What are you scared of?" And this motherfucker, without missing a beat, said, "Nothing. I'm not afraid of nothing." I'm like, damn, Skippy. So, the night goes by. Next morning, Travis is out there digging a fucking hole. Daniel's inside showing Chris how to use a shotgun, breaking it down, showing him the specs, explaining things to him. Travis gets done. He sees Susan out there. Oh, I'm sorry. There was one more part. I jumped ahead a little bit. Sorry. Where Liza and Maddie have this kind of conversation, and she's like, "Hey, look, Madison, I know we don't get along, but we need to come together for our kid's sake," and blah, blah, blah. Maddie interrupts her and says, "Look, I need you to do something for me. If I fucking turn like Susan out there," and this is the dialogue that lets us know her husband died, because apparently when her husband died, Susan took care of them, looked after her kids, did all this other stuff. So they had a relationship, her and Susan. Zombie Susan. Little Asian creepy Susan. Little creepy Asian zombie Susan. So, Maddie says, "Hey, if I turn out like Susan, though, you got to take care of me. Don't let Travis do it because it will break him." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Skippy. Travis is a little bitch. He can't handle bullshit for nothing. You know what I mean? He's a little fucking I can't stand him. He's fucking killing me." He's talking to Chris. "Yeah, how many times have I had my nose broken?" "Yeah, probably because you can't fucking fight. You got your ass beamed so many fucking times, and you're a little bitch." But anyway, I digress. I won't beat that dead horse. So the next morning, Travis is outside with the zombie, still trying to come through the fucking fence. And he's like, "Good morning, Susan." And he buries Peter, and he takes the stuff, and he takes out the trash. And there's this Vato next door. Vato's taking out trash too. And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And Irene's like, "Yeah, simple sense of normalcy." My wife's all, "Yeah, it's part of the routine. It makes them feel comfortable." And I was thinking to myself, and I saw that Vato. I know that motherfucker's got guns. I guarantee you, he got guns and shit up in his crib. But anyway, they go back inside. He sees Chris with a shotgun, loses his mind. Madison's like, "I didn't see the harm in it," and the line that just royally pissed me off throughout this entire episode was Travis saying, "You know how I feel about guns." Seriously, motherfucker? And then Danny Boy straight says, the gun doesn't care about what you think of it." Something like that. And I'm like, yeah, let that motherfucker know. It's not the gun. It's the motherfucker with the gun, right? So I was like, fuck him, Danny. Shit, you just ended up with a shotgun for your fucking crew. Fuck him. If he's going to be a little bitch and doesn't want his people to have it, you got a shotgun with 2 boxes of shells. Hey, man, that's coming up. Looking good for you and the wife and, your daughter. So anyway, they all load up their trucks, their car, and everything else. They get ready to fucking head out. They start driving, and the daughter of Danny and Griselda Griselda is saying, "Dad, you could just ask them to go with them. We'll be fine. We should go with them. We should go with them. If we ask Travis, it should be no big deal." He's like, "Fuck no, that guy is fucking no way." She's like, "They're good people, Papa," and he's like, "Yeah. Good people are the first to fucking die." So you find out a couple of things about Danny Boy, his wife, and Ophelia was probably not even born, but they were in El Salvador, and they went through a whole lot of shit in El Salvador, and the dad had wits about him and kept them safe, kept them alive through all the shit that happened in El Salvador. And so the mom keeps interrupting the daughter time and time again. The mom's a fucking writer. She's like, "Listen to your father. Your father knows what he's doing. Your father has gotten us out of way worse situation than this bullshit we're facing right now," as far as they knew, right? So anyway, Travis and them left. They were driving, but then Maddie saw Patrick, the husband of Zombie Susan, showing up home. And she's like, "Oh my God, this motherfucker's going to walk through the door and she's going to his ass," right? So she fucking turns around. Travis comes after her too. They go, I guess, again, somehow they come running there. Patrick's like, "Oh, my flight was fucked up. I drove all the way from Salt Lake." And I'm like, "Salt Lake!" Anyway, so that drive is fucking horrible too. It's like 12 hours, fucking boring ass drive. So anyway, he sees his... Okay, so this is problem number 2 I have. I love my wife, okay? If I came home and at a distance, I see my wife going, right? And then my neighbor's like, "That's not Susan, she's sick, stay away from her," right? For me, "That's not Irene, that's something, she's sick." Even if I never saw a monster movie, even though I never ever saw a fucking zombie movie, I might be a little bit like this. Hun, stay over there. Hold, stop, what the fuck, stop, what the fuck's wrong? Say something, answer me, say something, black, I said say something, black, I said say something. You know what I mean? No. Homeboy goes like this. Honey, here's her head. I'm like, oh shit. All of a sudden out of nowhere, blam, headshot. And then here comes the military, National Guard. Motherfucking G.I. Joe rolls in, right? Pulls Patrick away. He's not bit, nothing like that. Boom, Susan's on the ground, headshot. Everybody's being detained. Boom. They get interviewed, right? Who are you? How many people in the house? Blah, 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 blah. And all this other bullshit. They're going door to door. They're checking each house. They're marking each house and everything systematically. Woo. Yay, right? Yay, right? Yay. If you fucking said yay, you were like Travis. Travis said, "Here come, oh, this is the cavalry. Everything's going to be okay now." Oh, hell no. Fuck no. Right? At the end of the episode, Daniel looks outside and the wife's like, "What is it?" And he says, basically, "Oh, it's all bad now. This shit's fucked up. This is all fucked up now." When he sees the military, he knows this shit's fucked up. And so, a couple little housekeeping things. I did not know this first season of Fear the Walking Dead was only going to be 6 episodes. So, That's interesting to me. It's only 6 fucking episodes. So this is episode 3. And then we got, 3 more. That is kind of crazy. I don't recall a six episode thing. I think, for me anyway, the character shifts. Danny Boy, man, he's my motherfucker. Nick, I started hating Nick through this episode. I really started hating him. There was a moment they were leaving, and Maddie gave some of the meds to Griselda because she got her fucking foot crushed, and she needed some pain relief. And here's fucking crackhead Nick going, I need more medicine. So she gives him some, and he's like, is that all we have left? She's like, yeah, I gave some to the other lady. He's like, why? She's a nobody. She's not our family. She's like, she's hurting. He's like, I'm hurting. And I'm like, yeah, but the difference there, dick breath, you're hurting because you're a dumbass. She's hurting because she was running from a crazy fucking mob and some shit fell on her and hurt her. So really, in the moral grounds of who fucking deserves it, you don't deserve shit. You're just a little fucking parasitic cocksucker, And so I really, really didn't like Nick. And I respected the shit out of Maddie for not, stockpiling and hiding shit for her kid, and just being spoiled. She's like, I will help you. I will find a way. I'll help you. He goes, I don't need your help, Mom. I need my medicine. I'm like, okay, you are a dipshit. You're a crackhead. And part of me is looking forward to watching him go through that hell because, frankly, he deserves it. I don't really have a soft spot for people to go, ooh, my daddy died. And because my daddy died, I got addicted to drugs. You know what? You're a weak fuck. Stop trying to rely on other crutches and be a man and fucking stand on your own, right? If you decide to be a drug addict, knock yourself out. Don't expect me to feel bad for you, though. And don't expect me to bend over backwards and do special things for you. If my son was a fucking crackhead and was doing that shit, part of me would be like, you know what? You're not my responsibility. Get the fuck out of here. Go handle your shit. You know what I mean? You made your bed. Go fucking sleep in it. So, I love my son, and I would do everything in my power to try to help my kid. But at the same time, that motherfucker took the tone that he did with his mom. I don't need you. I need the medicine. I'd have been like, oh, you don't need me? Get the fuck out. Go. Leave. Best of luck to you. So, yeah, I did a good job making me really, really, really flip-flop my emotional feeling on Nick. Alicia, I actually was scared for her, and I liked her. I thought her going back for the shotgun shells showed a lot of guts on her part, I thought, you know what? She plays this little arrogant little princess bitch role, but there's, she's a writer. And there's a part in the episode where they are looking at Susan, and they're like, oh, is she sick? Is she this? Is she that? And Nick, like an asshole, just straight says, no, she's fucking dead, right? And he knew that Alicia was going to make that connection to Matt, and she goes 1 and 1, and she figures it out, and she starts to lose it. And Travis looks at him and says, why would you do that? He goes, because it's the truth. Really? It's the truth. So this crackhead decided to have the moral high ground and just fuck his sister's mind up. And he had plenty of opportunity to talk to her in private and break things to her peacefully. But no, he puts all the burden of responsibility on Madison and Travis. And he just keeps telling Madison, you got to tell her. Motherfucker, you got a voice. You could say some shit, right? But you wait till that moment to say she's dead and then just mind fuck your sister. That really put him in the dick category for me. Madison... there's a part where Madison was going to fucking mash the head in on Susan, put her out of her misery, and Travis comes out and stops her. And I was just, Travis is like, oh, we don't have the right to do this, and we don't have the right to do that. And I'm thinking, because of Travis's saying no to do this, that, or anything else, Madison didn't bash her head in and put her out of her misery, and that would have took her out of a potential threat. We already saw lack of action episode 2 when Nick tells Madison, hey, you need to go across the street and let them know what's going on. And Madison's saying, yeah, I'll go tell them. And there is a part you see her walking across the street, but obviously she doesn't do the warning or anything else. Otherwise, the lady wouldn't have been outside to have Peter attack and kill her at the end of episode 2. So, you know, there's a lot of this shit that is just kind of, you know, Madison now, I'm on the fence with her. I know they're trying to do this real strong love connection between her and Travis. There's things he's saying where he's like, I'm never leaving you again. And I'm like, oh, that's the kiss of death. One of these two motherfuckers is going to die or have some really traumatic shit. Either Travis is going to lose Liza and Chris, see them turn into zombies, and he's going to be mind-fucked, or vice versa. Something's going to happen on Maddie's side, and it's just going to create this rift and this other conflict, and one of them is going to turn into a monster and try to eat the other one. That's what I think. I think that's where it probably can go at something. Let's see. Ophelia, I didn't really have any problems with her. I think she was doing what any concerned daughter would do for her mom, not knowing Dad's background and really what he's capable of. You know, those were logical things, and I didn't really have a problem with her. Travis, biggest disappointment to me. You know, I'm sitting there. My wife was getting pissed at it. She was like, this stupid motherfucker. I mean, she was getting mad. She's like, God, he's so fucking stupid. I said, yeah, you know, the sad thing is there's people out there like that blaming shit on guns instead of, you know, putting the blame on assholes that, you know, abuse guns. You know, it's not, a gun is a tool. So anyway, we were sitting there and we both are in agreement with that. Like, fuck, Travis, at this point, we hope you die. And I know they're doing that so that we see him as this weak individual, and by the time everything's said and done, he's going to probably transform into this fucking John J. Rambo motherfucker, right? So, I don't know. We'll see how that all plays out. But I think, you know, with the whole Susan and Maddie thing, you know, Travis was off base. He should have let Maddie do what she wanted to do, and they would have been on the road. They would have been going. So we'll see if that one event is the catalyst for some serious what ifs. Because, you know, if they had left the night before, obviously the National Guard wouldn't have been there. If they would have been leaving when they would have left, and Susan would have been dome-shotted and killed by Maddie, she wouldn't even have blinked twice when Peter was going there. She would have been like, oh, well, Peter's going to find a dead body. He's going to have to deal with the shit, right? And they would have kept going. So we'll see what happens. My fear, whenever military gets involved, that's when FUBARs and clusterfucks start to happen. They, you know, militarized control is more of an Occupy situation. They come in, they put their rules in place, and it's very rigid. There is no, oh yeah, we're here to help you and take care of you, and you know, it's like, hey, here's the orders, kill everything in this area because for whatever reason this area is infected, we're going to wipe everything out. You know, I could see some shit like that going down. So we'll see what happens. There are lots of other little bits and pieces in here that we could have talked about, but I'll leave that open for you guys to bring up. If there was something that I didn't discuss that you thought was noteworthy, put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. But other than that, you know, that was episode 3, and I really liked it. I thought this episode moved a lot faster. It had a lot more into it. It had me really mad and really happy and really excited at the same time. So emotionally, the show is firing. It's firing really, really well. It's doing a good job. My hopes, and I'm hoping that Chris bonds with Danny, and they make this really cool, you know, Travis dies or something, Danny takes over, fucking raises up, you know, Chris to be a fucking badass. And, you know, it'd be kind of cool to see a couple of these guys show up in Walking Dead as some small faction or something else, maybe something affecting some part of the groups or something. That would be really neat. That would be some cool continuity. But other than that, I'm enjoying the shit out of this. I think this is a great fucking show. So let me know what you guys think. All right, that's it for now. If you like it, please subscribe. Tell all your friends. Until next time, please be good to each other.